Hey Disney Cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community, where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. I am so excited for this. I could scream. I'm so excited. Okay, as you're coming in, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from so that we can say hi. But today we are talking, this is the very first review of the Disney Treasure from an actual person who sailed on board. I am so excited. I'm so excited. So yes, everyone, please let us know where you're sailing, where you're sailing from. Well, I mean, if you're sailing, I need to calm down a little bit. But as people are coming in, Crissi, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So I am Crissi O'Kane, one of your recommended travel advisors with DCL Community. And a sad fact, but also a fun fact, is I just got off the Disney Treasure this morning. Super sad to be off the ship, but super excited to be going back on board soon, but also going through all of my experiences with you guys in this great community. There are so many pictures online of these spaces, but they're empty. It's just a picture of like how cool the space is. But this was the first time that guests got to experience what are these spaces actually like with guests actually in them? How do they work? How do they function? And how much fun are guests going to have on this ship?
Oh my gosh. And spoiler alert, did you have the best time?
Absolutely. I had the best time. Oh my gosh, the best time.
So excited. I'm so excited. Okay, so we are going to get into all things treasure. Of course, if you are ready to book your Disney Cruise Line experience, whether it's on the Treasure, the Wish, any of the Disney fleet, reach out to Crissi. That is the link to her page on the DCL community site. I'll get this in the comments for everybody as well. But her planning services are totally free for you to utilize. So pick her brain on how Disney compares to other cruise lines, what port's going to be best for you and your family, excursions. She can help with it all. And again, her planning services are free. And there's no better gift, let me tell you, than a Disney cruise. Just floating that one out there. But let's go ahead and let's dive into all things treasure.
Yeah, so I think truly, there's all the kind of general comments of like, oh, it's just like the Wish, but it is not. It is just like the Wish structurally, but to me, that's where it all stops. Like that's it. The similarities completely stop at the structure for me because of the warmth. The warmth is truly the most powerful part of your vacation is this warmth in this environment. You are welcomed on board with warmth immediately. There are special welcome outfits for the cast that announce you. There is a special announcement playing when guests aboard because you are not just a Disney cruiser, you are a traveler. And it is a completely different vibe. You are actually not just on vacation, you are part of a story. And that does start the moment you board, that you are a traveler and you are part of this jewel-toned color palette of warmth and cozy and family moments that is just so powerful. So I really wanted to create a presentation that's just all about the togetherness and the actual activities and guest experience on board, not just the spaces. The spaces are really unique, but it's all about the experience. So I created kind of a step one is boarding, and then we're just going to go through what a guest experience in a day on board, if that makes sense.
Beautiful. That sounds great to me. And we do have the question from James. Are they handing out magic wands like they do on the Wish?
Not at this time for these preview sailings. There may be something different handed out. I highly doubt it would be a magic wand, as this is not a Cinderella or Bibbidi Bobbidi or Princess at all themed ship. So there could be a variation, especially for that maiden voyage where you have paying guests on board that may be looking for some special treats. This was a preview sailing for sales and media. So we didn't get boarding gifts. We did get room gifts, which I have right here. Here's my beautiful treasure bandana, and some ears and a hat. But no magic wands. That would totally conflict with the theme, frankly.
Yes. No, that makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm like,
And so
I just want to jump through the computer and be on
there. I know. After you board, you're probably, if you're like me, you're gonna like do the entire ship top to bottom and see all of it really quickly. And then you're like, whew, I need a break. And when you go do your break, you're gonna go do that at the brand new sail away party. And what I've learned in my experience on Treasure, and guys, I just want you to know, I did spend a lot of time with like Disney marketing people, but this is all me. Okay. Crissi O'Kane, brilliant person, have come up with the idea that treasure is a blend of familiarity and then onward to new adventure and then like hone it back in with familiarity. That is what the treasure experience is. And I came up with that. Okay. Disney, if you want to pay me, that's how you describe treasure. Okay. But
Love that.
that is truly what the set sail party is. It's going to instantly wow you with something different. So this is where you first meet Sage and Coriander, who are your treasure storytellers throughout your voyage. And Sage and Coriander start this this sail away party, and it is a, you know, they're out there. They've Sage has a horn that he plays, and Coriander is a very dynamic speaker, and this is a big welcome. So you can look for, I do have a video coming out tomorrow with a kind of a very, very fast fly through of the Let's Set Sail party. But this is so different, super different, right? It's not on any other ship. And then the full soundtrack for Let's Set Sail starts, and it is a new soundtrack, but it's totally familiar songs. And you start to see familiar faces, right? You have your Fab Five come out, and you've got your entertainment crew with their ribbon dancers, and you're like, oh, I know this. This is my sail away party. I know this. And then change it up, gonna bring in some more characters that you did not expect, and they just come out with a bang. It's really, really cool. So lots of new characters that you haven't seen in Sail Away before. You have Moana, Tiana and Naveen, Rapunzel and Flynn, and then Genie up at the very end. So super cool stuff happening with this ship. Those characters may vary, but in our sailing, that's kind of how they rolled. And the whole sail away was just stunning. So again, it's a really cool feeling of like something new and wow, just like when you walk into that grand hall and you're like, wow, this is new, this is different. And then you start to see, oh, there's a statue, there's a stage. It is actually familiar. It's just wow. Same thing with Let's Set Sail. Wow, Sage and Coriander, what is this? Okay, there's Captain Mickey. Everything is good. And then, whoa, all new characters. What's going on? Okay, they're ending with the Fab Five. Okay, all is good. It's the same kind of feel. Really, really cool.
I love the different spin. You know, so many of us are, you know, religious Disney cruisers, and, you know, we've seen the shows and they're still amazing. I still will go see the same show over and over again, but to have those little different touches, it keeps it fresh. And this is a good question coming in. Can you explain what you mean by the ship isn't a princess ship? The princesses are still there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a bit, I mean, I would say that's a personal feeling. Maybe I'm a little bit of a hard critic on the Wish as being just a little bit too princess centric.
The Wish is very, very like, right. You walk in and the atrium is Cinderella, and you know the chandelier is about the magic happening with Cinderella. It's very
it's so princessy, and the rooms are so princessy. It's just like, it's a lot, right? It's a lot for me, but it's still lovely, and it's little boys and all ages will love the Wish. But the Treasure has a very different color palette. It's jewel toned, and it's about adventure, and it seeks out those adventure characters, which do include some princesses, but the princesses are not the focus. So while Jasmine is in the Grand Hall statue, so is Aladdin, and so is Carpet, and the lamp is featured, and Genie lives in the lamp. And then Abu is actually in the carpet right there too. So the whole Aladdin family, except Sultan, are on there. Raja is over by the stage. So it's not really about Jasmine, even though we can call it the Jasmine ship. You'll get to see Jasmine a lot on this ship. You'll also see Prince Ali. They come out almost always together, which I really love that. Again, it's like a family and together ship. The other characters that you'll see featured a lot, you'll see Tiana and Naveen a lot, and you'll see Rapunzel and Flynn a lot as well in their appearances throughout the ship. And then, of course, you'll see Moana in her feature show. So these are characters that, yes, they are princesses, but there's a lot of adventure. And then the staterooms themselves are not princess in theming, with the exception of, I guess, Pocahontas. And that's like, she's like within the Disney princess marketing. But she's a chief's daughter. Like, it's kind of different, but it's fine. So you've got Nemo, you've got Luca, all kinds of different, rooms themed to stories.
Yes, I was going to say there's going to be Disney princesses on every single ship. So I personally, and I would say reach out to Crissi and have the conversation about which ship is going to be best for you. But I would look at things like itinerary, the length of your sailing, your budget, where you want to go, where you want to travel to. You know, there's going to be princesses everywhere. And I know that, you know, kids might love Frozen, but you can get Frozen on different ships in different ways. And, you know, there's also some other really great princesses other than, you know, there's lots to offer. But these pictures are awesome. You can see Tiana, you can see Rapunzel, you can see Moana. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk about the Moana stage show. I'm so excited for that.
So then, yeah, after Sail Away, your room's going to be ready. Let's head there. Let's kind of, you know, settle in, right? These rooms, they just give you this feeling of like, I'm settled, right? They have the same layout like the Wish rooms, some minor changes, but they make a big impact. The desk / vanity area, the drawers are a little bit different configuration. I found it very, very beneficial. And then also the outlets by the nightstands, they just have some more going on. There's like a central outlet plug, and then on they're circular, right? It's kind of funky. It's a circle, and then there's like a central outlet plug, and then there's a USB-C on one side and a standard USB on the other. It's pretty neat. It's kind of a funky electrical hidden Mickey. I sent it to my husband telling him it was a hidden Mickey, and he said he didn't see it. It's just a circle. So I don't know. you tell me, let me know. But anyway, so there's that. Some minor changes, but really the big change is the warmth of these color palettes. These are beautiful scenes from your favorite Disney movies, but they're not the scene that's like the climax or the excitement point. They're the scene of calm, the scene of serene. So I have my 2 favorite artworks in here. I did see all of them, and many of people know that I have certain movies that I love, certain movies that I don't love. So these are, of course, 2 movies that I love already, but objectively, I do also think these are the 2 best artworks of these standard rooms. Non-concierge is what I mean by standard. So this is Aladdin and Pocahontas. And Aladdin, the gold artwork, oh my gosh, the filigree, it's so beautiful. But Pocahontas is my home. So I think if I were to be picking a stateroom based on movie art, I would go with the Pocahontas room. I was staying in a Nemo room, super cute, loved it. But these 2 are my absolute favorite artworks on board. But there's also Lion King and Encanto and Luca as well. Really cool stuff. So.
That. And the question is, how do I know what art is going to be in my room? Definitely reach out to Crissi. She'll have a full list based on the decks. I'll get her link up on screen again and in the comments for everybody. But definitely reach out, and she's got that breakdown and can get you booked in the right room so that your favorite scene is there when you walk in.
We absolutely want to make that happen. And this scene will carry through into the carpet. The carpets will have a blend. Each deck has 2 kind of themes. So like for instance, the Pocahontas rooms are like, you know, on the same deck as those Aladdin rooms. And so the carpet blends together. They've got the scarabs for Aladdin and they've got the leaves for Pocahontas. Oh, so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Disney just doesn't miss any details. And I knew this question was going to come in about the outlets. How many other outlets were there? Were there just 2, one by each side of the bed?
No, there are plenty of outlets. So there are 2 by like on the sides of the bed. And then over on the desk, there's like a built-in power strip, and it's a little bit hidden. It's hard to find. It's kind of tucked under, but it's like a strip of outlets, and it's got like a standard, then it's got an international that can also be a standard, and then it's got a USB-C, and then it's got a USB standard like right below it. It's just in a line. I don't know why I'm holding up my hand, okay, but it's in a line.
I love that. Yeah, I was going to say, I never,
as well.
Well, in all of my years of, you know, being a part of the DCL community, never did I ever think that I would get so many questions about outlets, but we got to charge our devices, right?
Yes. Yeah. So now after you've like put away your stuff, unpacked, because you're one of those fancy pants cruisers that actually unpacks. Good job, you. Go lounge, right? And these are now I am being a little bit generous with the term lounge. Disney doesn't like have all of these categorized as lounges. Some of them are bars and some of them are performance spaces. But I chose these 5 spaces as lounges because this is where I spent time just relaxing outside of like scheduled programming content. But there are scheduled programming events in these spaces as well. But kind of from left to right, there's the Periscope Pub, which is an awesome vibe. It's themed to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And fun fact, everybody's seen this picture. They've all seen the empty picture with the like fish effects on the ceiling. But did you know that this was actually filmed in the Seas Pavilion at Epcot? And that is why this looks so real, because it is real. These really are actual aquarium shadows. It's crazy. Right?
This is so good.
I know. And then once this space is actually functioning and opened, which I do have a picture of later, It's a sports bar. You're not just sitting there. You're watching sports under the sea. It's pretty cool. And then next to that, we have the Haunted Mansion Lounge, which I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions about.
Yeah.
But we were in there during testing. We were in there during touring. We were in there during just regular open hours. It is truly an awesome, awesome lounge. There is no question, straight from the top, there is not going to be a virtual queue. Straight from the top, yeah, there's not. It has been stress tested at a maximum capacity sailing, and it did great. And I can really tell you from my personal experience that this is an awesome lounge. It does not have like live music playing. It absolutely has live entertainment in like the show effects. But there's not something that's going to make you want to sit there and like listen through the end of a song set. There's also nothing served in there besides water that's like complimentary, right? So like you're not going to be in there that long. Even the most diehard of Disney fans, and the reason for that is that it's dark. It's dark. It's dark. It's very dark. And so eventually you're going to want to be able to like read your phone. There's no flash photography allowed. And there are a lot of lighting effects. So there are flashes of light. The lighting changes a lot. And there's kind of like, there's 7 scenes and eventually they'll repeat. So there's this kind of natural cue that like, hey, I've been in here and I've seen this scene before. I think I'm going to head out. And this was not an issue at all. There is a sign now when you enter that says 45 minutes is the suggested maximum time. And that may or may not end up being like actually enforced, but I highly doubt it just because this is a 7-night sailing. Guests have so many opportunities to go be in this space. And it truly is set up for a short visit in between events. It's a great lounge to go and explore, have 1 or 2 drinks and just sit with your friends, but it's not one that you're going to be at for a long time. There's not trivia held in here or, events or live music or things like that. But on the opposite, next to that is Sarabi, which is not really listed as a lounge. It's more of a program space, but that's where we ended up lounging a lot because there's all these cozy circular couches with their own little TV in it. It's a great place to just go and relax when there's not something scheduled in there, but when there is, it's really good entertainment. So definitely check out that Sarabi space that's theming to the Lion King. It is wonderful.
I know we'll get the question about, it was a big complaint on the Wish about the kind of open air second deck for that. Any changes on that compared to the
Wish? That is changed. It is closed. And so it is closed off. And it, to me, it looks like it's a permanent closed thing. They're panels, and I know that in ship construction, you can probably remove most panels, but these they're not like blinds or screens. Like it's a panel. So I don't see it that changing or that them opening that. It is closed off on that second story.
See, everybody, Disney listens to feedback. That's all so awesome. Oh my gosh. Sorry, keep going.
Society, totally okay. Theme to Jungle Cruise. Here, this is absolutely the opposite. The next two, Skipper Society and Scat Cat, do have live music playing. They are intended for you to sit and relax and enjoy. You can, easily go and like kind of get your soda from Festival of Foods and bring it down in there and just chill. Bring a glass of water with you, whatever you want to do. But they are playing live music in here. They do have some tastings in these spaces as well. So there's lots to do, and you guests may linger in these spaces a bit longer than in Haunted Mansion as well. And one thing I noticed throughout the day is that the music offered in these two spaces is like usually totally opposite. Like there's calm, chill music at Scat Cat when there's like really lively, upbeat music going on at Skipper Canteen. And then the other way around when it's like the crazy Disney guy, he's not crazy in a bad way, the crazy talented Disney guy playing at Scat Cat, it's pretty calm, chill music over at Skipper Society. So just a fun fact. I do also have pictures coming up of these slides with actual people in them to really go over kind of what the spaces look like. But this is where you'll lounge after you've settled in, and you'll be part of the story.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And these spaces, I mean, the renderings are good, but I feel like these spaces, Disney knocked it out of the park.
And this is where you see it's not a princess ship. There's no princessy lounge, if that makes sense.
Yes, the theming is definitely different. And I know I haven't seen, what is it, 20,000 leagues, a million leagues under the sea, whatever that number is.
Leagues. That's how many, a million.
Yes. So I haven't seen that one, but like I love the Aristocat. So like that theme, right? You connect with different things, and that's the same on any cruise ship and on any cruise line, right? It might not all be for you, but the spaces are intentional and they're so well done. And once you're
Totally.
there, they will have something for you. And we did get a question about the Haunted Mansion bar. I've heard this is adult only. Can my kids go in and see it? They love the Haunted Mansion ride.
Yes. So the hours are they're still a little bit in testing, but the current plan is that it'll be open, something like noon to 9, family friendly, and then 9 p.m. to midnight, adult only. That exact switchover time may vary, and it may end up opening a little bit earlier on some sailings, like on sea days or things. But as of right now, that's kind of how they're operating for right now. So they'll have some family friendly. The majority of the time will be family friendly, and there'll be some short adult only portions as well. I would say that there's if your kiddos like the Haunted Mansion ride, they're not going to be overly spooked in this area. But if your kiddos don't like the Haunted Mansion ride, you should not go in here, because it's kind of like it's like on the Haunted Mansion ride, you're kind of moving through scenes, and like if one scene is a little scary, you're very quickly into the next one. In here, it's the door shuts and it's dark, and it's a little bit it's very immersive. We'll put it that way. In Disney speak, it's very immersive.
Very immersive. Okay, that's a great way to describe it. And then we have another question. Is there a full bar in there, or is it like the Wish where it's limited cocktails? Are there any mocktails like they have in Drink with Ice Cream on the Wish?
So there are, that is a great question. So it does have a specific menu. On our test sailing, we were able to kind of ask for slight modifications, but not anything totally off menu. You can't ask for like any brand of beer. They have their offerings, but you can kind of modify with something else they already have. For the mocktails, they actually have quite an extensive menu of family-friendly options. They have 4 different sodas. I tried the Creepy Crawly Cola and sour sipper. It's like Sprite, but sour and green, and it was so good. It was better than the cola one. And both were 0 calories, even though they didn't say diet anywhere, and I saved the glasses to prove it. So anyway, so but I don't drink alcohol at all. And every bar that I went to was able to make me some type of mocktail version of their signature drink. That could have been just due to this event where, there were only like 1,400 passengers on board. So the bars were never like maximum capacity except for Haunted Mansion and sometimes Skipper Society too. But asking and kind of explaining, the bartenders were actually very excited to kind of play around with something and make something for me. So I had mocktails at all 5 of these locations up there, plus at Coco as Plaza de Coco as well.
Love that. I was going to say, Disney's doing such a good job of making those 0 proof drinks options across. I mean, even on the Magic when we sailed, they have options in all the bars. So that is, or lounges or entertainment space or whatever we're supposed to. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Yes, food, my favorite topic.
Storytelling at dinner. And I did put pictures of all 3 spaces, even though only one is new, because again, it's that same like familiar, wow, something new, and then like rein it back in with familiar, but modify it a little bit. So 1923 does have over 900 pieces of artwork from the Walt Disney Studios collection, which makes me wonder, like, how many ships are you guys going to be able to put 1923 on before you like run out of stuff? And where is all this stuff until it goes on the ship? Like, I have so many questions, but, and anyway, there's so many questions on this topic. But it really kind of made me feel like I was able to kind of create my own story. And I did actually, this was our actual dining rotation was 1923, Plaza de Coco, and then World of Marvel. So that's why they're in this order, but guests could have them in any order, but this is our order. And I love this order because I felt like inspired to kind of create my own story. And then I went to Plaza de Coco, and the story was like something familiar, but continued. The story at Plaza de Coco takes place 3 years later. So 3 years after the movie. So Miguel is a little bit more grown up, and it shows you what happens when Miguel is 3 years older and his family has embraced music. So it's really cool to see him grow, develop into like kind of a young teenager. And there will be 2 performances because this is a 7-night sailing. So all guests will go to each restaurant twice for their standard menus. And then your one restaurant you'll also visit a 3rd time, but that will be the Pirate Night menu. And so the first showing at Plaza de Coco will be more of a restful, not somber in a sad way, but a collectful time to prepare for Day of the Dead. And then the second show, which is the one we saw, will be the Day of the Dead showing. And I was just so spellbound by this show. It's very touching. It is something like as someone that has just recently lost someone in their life, I was a little bit like hesitant to even go. I was like, is this going to like, am I going to make a scene? Is this going to be hard? But it was just beautiful. It's definitely emotional. There is like a call to action where for everybody to remember their loved ones, and oh, that was hard, but it was so perfectly done and just beautiful. And the talent was just stunning. The vocalists were great, but I was so impressed also by the mariachi performers and the dancer who there's been no mention of that, by the way. There's no mention of that in all the marketing, that there's like a dancer, but there's a dancer and she's amazing.
That's
We all stopped eating, just watching like what is going on. So really, really cool. And it's a blend of music that you're familiar with from the movie, and also you may be familiar with some songs from Mexican culture. They're happy birthday traditional songs performed at Day of the Dead, which is interesting. And then a couple other kind of traditional Mexican songs, and then some just all new songs because, Miguel's a musician now. So pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, so fun. And I have to mention, just because you called it out on your stories, and if you're not following Crissi on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing, but you definitely should be following her. But there were some changes, because people complained about, it were too loud, too crowded, too this, too that, and, in Arendelle. So can you touch on some of the changes in Plaza de Coco compared to Arendelle?
So Plaza de Coco, the whole setup is it's really open. The stage is in the center, and the performers kind of come through. They don't, at least in our Day of the Dead show, they don't really come up and visit your table or mingle as much. The show is much more just on the stage. And then around you, it's like an immersive environment, like you're inside their city. You see like one wall has the Rivera family shoe store on it, so you kind of figure out where you are. But the show is really centered. You're kind of in an immersive environment, but the show is very central into the stage. And the song elements of the show don't actually overlap with any of your serving time or your eating time. It's kind of in the middle, like you just ordered and you're waiting for your food, and now the show kind of starts up again. And then it kind of stops. You have your food, you make your, you order your dessert or whatever. So I think that it works really well. It flows very well. And there's really kind of like two sections of the show that are very lively. We're singing Poco Loco. We're all cheering. And then the rest of the show is much more calm and just it's kind of like just having a beautiful background mariachi while you're having dinner. It's wonderful.
Love that. And the dining team stations are along the perimeter now too, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Love that for opening up. I know there's some people who are sensitive to hearing. They don't necessarily like all the loud noises. So I would say that's something, Crissi is so good about making accommodations for guests who have a variety of needs. So definitely reach out to her if that is a concern. You don't necessarily want to be in the middle of all the entertainment. Maybe you need a little bit of a quieter area. So definitely reach out to her about that. But speaking of maybe not so quiet areas, let's have Marvel.
So Marvel is the same restaurant with a new show, a new twist,
Ooh.
right? Similar menu, again, lots of familiarity, some slight modifications, a lot of the same entrees, but just kind of a slightly different sauce or different glaze than what we had seen before on The Wish. So kind of neat there. But the really cool stuff here is that the show is featuring Baby Groot and Rocket. And now I saw this show on the New York preview, and I also saw the same show again on the preview sailing. So again, there would be two like shows here, but I don't know what the other one's going to be. So still a surprise. But this show is super cute, and it's kind of a cute story about underappreciated heroes. And you always, when you think about heroes, even if you're thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy heroes, you're not really thinking of Rocket and Groot. And now you get to kind of really give those two some love, and it's just a very cute show. And the other thing, very similar to your comments about Plaza de Coco, is that it does not interfere with your meal. It's not it's not super interactive unless you choose to be. There is a game, like a trivia game, that you can be playing while you're eating dinner, but you can choose to or not, either way. And the show is a special feature.
Yes, and I get that people like seeing the characters in Arendelle, and yes, that's wonderful. But to me, the entertainment in the dining room should complement, not overpower the dining experience. And it seems like that is exactly what these do. They complement it. They don't, it's not like you're distracted the whole time waiting for somebody to come around. And again, those dining experiences, they have immense value. I love getting to meet Rapunzel on the magic, right? As
Yeah,
she's walking around the tables.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
but does it complement? Does it overpower? And then we do have a question about the other menus on the other nights. Are they taking menus from the fantasy, or is everything going to be new? Do we know?
So we again on the sailing, we only saw one menu for each restaurant. Kind of. I was actually on the allergy friendly menu, so my menu was the agent that I was sailing with was on the regular menu, and I was on the allergy menu. So we can kind of compare them both. Heads up for anybody on the allergy menu, it is a completely different menu at most restaurants. So if you're expecting like, oh, this chicken and rice dish doesn't actually have anything I'm allergic to in it, it still might not be on your menu. So just keep that in mind. You will be presented with your allergy menu the night before, so you kind of pre-order. But just keep that in mind. I had an excellent time. I had excellent food. It was no problem, but there were some dishes on the regular menu that I know I'm not allergic to, but I couldn't have, just probably due to the potential of cross-contamination using the same cooking, utensils and that kind of a thing. So no big deal, but we only saw menu for night one. We were told what the menu would be for night two. And it does seem to mostly match the other ships for 1923 in World of Marvel, but again, just some slight changes in some sauces and a couple of things kind of that will be exclusive to the treasure, but very similar.
Yes. And one more question before we move on: is there a pirate night and a formal night? I guess that's two questions.
Yes. That's yes to both. There is a pirate night. We did actually have one on this 3-night preview sailing. I was doing something else, so I didn't actually get pirated. Even though I packed my Smee outfit and everything, I was prepared, but I didn't put it on. I was in a sales meeting. But anyway, so the and there will be a formal night on the 7 nights. The 3-night preview didn't have one formally scheduled. Some people kind of chose to do it. We saw people all fancied up, and I was like, oh, that would have been fun. We should have done that, but we didn't. But you can always make your own formal night on any Disney cruise line. If you would like, you're always welcome to dress formal and take pictures throughout the ship. There's beautiful opportunities to do so. But the 7-night sailings will have an official formal night, yes.
Love that. And no changes to the Mickey Festival of Foods, Enchante or Palo, all those returned? Same spaces?
Yeah, so Enchante's Palo stay the same. The Rose is still there, and Festival of Food's still there as well.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
And then between dinner and your show, because in my plan you have early seating, but you could do this the other way around too. There's familiar fun plus new entertainment. So you've got your character meet and greets just like you're used to in the same spaces that you're used to seeing your people. You can go see them. Captain Mickey's there. Voyager Minnie is around. She's got a special outfit for the treasure that she wears with her telescope, and she's on an adventure. And then you've got characters in the Grand Hall, characters up by the funnel, characters abound through the Oceaneer Club. We've got trivia. Most of the trivia on our sailing was in Sarabi, a few over in Triton's as well. Excuse me.
Awesome.
You've got your funnel vision, right? You can never go wrong with funnel vision, another familiar favorite. And then new entertainment. I really almost made a whole slide for Sage and Coriander. I'm going to be honest. I think that these two are the most talented of the entertainment crew on staff. I think they are vocally more talented than the stage crew. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it, Sage and Coriander. You guys are, and I am a vocal major. So, I mean, I'm a harsh critic. Sage and Coriander are very, very talented. And it's just not necessarily something that you would expect when you are going to a comedy sketch retelling of one of the classic Disney stories, and you're treated to a Broadway caliber production of Aladdin with just 2 actors. It's pretty talented.
Yes.
Roles, really getting into it, and also making you laugh the whole time. Really just an incredible blend of vocal and musical ability, plus comedic presence and just strong skills. And they also take over the Sarabi Lounge later in the evening as well for some adults only entertainment. So they're fantastic. But during the day, you can find them most of the time in the Grand Hall, although they do make appearances elsewhere. But most of the time, you'll find them in the Grand Hall doing some storytelling of all of your favorite Disney classics. And it's a very immersive and engaging, fun experience. And again, you can expect videos coming on my Instagram.
Yes. And you know, I know people are so quick to want to pre-book all the activities, and I will never stop, harping on this. But especially with the new ship, when you've never done anything, and Crissi, you tell me if you disagree, but I don't think I would go in and book a single added activity. No. I would just want to experience the ship for the first time.
Definitely, yeah. Especially with this ship, like I would say that the entertainment, which you don't need to schedule in advance at all, is the strength of this ship. This ship is here to entertain. The live music is stunning. The stage show performances are stunning, all three of them. Stage and Coriander, they're pop-up. Like it's not even always on the schedule, and they're incredible. So the entertainment abounds on this ship. You really don't need to schedule yourself for all the things, because then you'll be missing out on the unscheduled stuff.
Exactly. And before we move on, I did miss this question. In 1923, were they reproductions of the art?
Great question. Yes. No, these are new pieces. That's why I'm like, where are they getting it? Like, where are they getting it? For those of you that don't know, they have a very similar decor concept over at the brand new Pixar Place Hotel at Disneyland. And it's like the same kind of style in their club level lounge. It's just like, where is all this stuff coming from? Where? And I know some of it they reproduce and make, but like, where does it come from? But I would say that there's two sides. And so I sat on the Roy side for dinner. And then I also went the following day for breakfast on the Walt side. So I did see them both. They're very, very similar, but they do have different art on either side. On the side, the Roy side, you can actually see one of his ID badges as you're walking in. So that was a really cool, fun fact. Randomly noticed. It's on display.
That's awesome.
You can see it while you're in the Grand Hall walking in. But it is all new. And the co-agent that I was with was telling me that she felt like it was a little bit less colorful than some of the artwork that is at 1923. And I personally haven't done the Wish yet. It's like too princessy for my crew. So I can't quite compare it. But I do feel like the 1923 artwork, it really fit my vibe. There's a whole Pocahontas wall that I was like trying to finagle how to sit next to when I went for breakfast. So it's beautiful in there.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was going to say the Disney historians, we had one on our Pixar Day at Sea cruise, and the amount of stuff that they have from all of these movies and shows. I mean, they have a whole section of like Boy Meets World clothing, right? From just clothes that they wore during the show. So I would love to go. I don't know if that's possible, but to dig through the Disney archives, sign me up.
Yeah. All right. So now after you've had your trivia fun and your character fun, it's showtime. So Tale of Moana is absolutely epic. But more so the structure of this vacation, it's truly epic. It's a voyage. You're going to start with something very familiar. You'll start with Believe, Sea of Dreams, which is like a show that's familiar to Disney cruisers. But if you're new to Disney cruising, it's also a fantastic show for your first night on board. It's about sailing a ship. It's wonderful, right? So wonderful. There are some slight modifications from the production on the Wish. It's not something that you would super like immediately call out, but just a little bit different character flow. And then after that, your next production that you'll see will be Tale of Moana. So you're going to go on a really epic voyage with Moana and feel like you are part of her village. And then you'll journey into a small provincial town and end your days or end your voyage with the Tales of the Time with Beauty and the Beast. So it's just a wonderful like feeling of like kind of, again, like familiar wow moment, and then reel it back in with something familiar, but still very wow. And then, Tale of Moana is the new show. It is signature to the treasure, and it is truly spectacular. The level of special effects involved, like for those of you that don't know, I am the queen of cruising. I sail every cruise line. And a lot of my colleagues in the Disney travel industry only sell Disney, and they think Disney Cruise Line is like the only cruise line that exists. And they're wonderful people, but they're very easy to impress because this is all there is. right? I am not that way. I am actually very hard to impress.
Yeah.
And this show was so impressive. The vocal talent was superb. The storytelling was superb. And what I love most about it was that it was a show, but it was also an immersive experience. There is not a pitch at the start from the cruise director. It just evolves into a show. You're seated and the show kind of starts happening around you. And you don't even realize that the show is starting. It's very subtle. And then all of a sudden you're in the show and you're in the village and you're being told the story. And it is just, it feels much more special and actually authentic that way. There are also, I learned actually from the New York event that there were cultural representatives to make sure that all the language matched, that all the, like the coconuts, when you actually open it, actually looks like a coconut, like just very, very, the level of authenticity to Polynesian culture and the respect for other cultures is just top notch here. So really, really neat to see. And that those details just, again, add even more life and just abundance to this story that makes you feel like you're part of a new world. And the puppeteering is just, I mean, really, it's exclusive to Disney. So while I love the show, it also makes me super excited for what's coming next, because I love Moana, but I did not grow up with Moana. However, I did grow up with Hercules. So if they can make Moana like this, I cannot wait for Hercules on the Destiny. And I just can't wait to see what happens over on Adventure. It's going to be out of this world. So
yes, really, oh my gosh, with the water show with Moana, that's going to be incredible. I'm so excited and love that Disney is doing it right. Someone's asking, can you remind me what the 3 shows are again? Sorry, I missed that part.
Absolutely. So Believe, Sea of Dreams, Tale of Moana, which is exclusive to the Treasure, and Beauty and the Beast.
Tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. And yes, and the story continues late in the evening. So after your show, you're maybe not ready for bed yet because you're on a Disney cruise line. Like, you can sleep when you're at home, right?
True.
So there's all kinds of entertainment happening. All of those same spaces that I showed before are, plus there's a bonus one in case you're an introvert like Crissi. So over at Jungle Cruise, I keep calling it Jungle Cruise, guys. It's not called that. It's called Skipper Society, based on Jungle Cruise. But over at Jungle Cruise, you'll see the doublooners. And I initially, just because I was like going through the program, I thought they were just like a Journey cover band. Okay, that's a lie. That's a total lie. They do that one night, but they play all kinds of different music. So one time I was in the Haunted Mansions Lounge, and then I walked out and they were playing Country Roads, which for those of you that don't know, I live in like the middle of Appalachia. And I felt like they were playing this just for me. Like, I opened the door and they were playing my song and there was nobody even in there. And so I just had a private performance of Country Roads. And unfortunately for them, I sang along. So I like kind of ruined it. But like, anyway, but live music, hustle and bustling over there at Skipper Society. Sports are going to be playing at Periscope, which is really fun. And you can have your drink in this jellyfish glass. And you can ask for, Kareem will make you a mad cocktail in that glass as well if you need it. And then over at Sarabi, it's Sarabi Club in the evenings. And then Sarabi Supper Club some evenings. And during that time, they call it Supper Club, but there's not like dinner served, okay? So that was a little bit confusing to me. It just, instead of being just a general like club where there's kind of some different dance parties like silent disco and things, it's an actual like seated lounge experience where servers are coming to bring special drinks served just during this time. They're like 1920s inspired. And there's a 1920s singer involved. And then she actually gets hijacked. And this is on the schedule. It's not a secret show. It's on the schedule. But they kind of make it seem like it's a secret. But she gets hijacked by Sage and Coriander, where they perform Choose Wisely, which is an Indiana Jones comedy adventure where the audience chooses what choice Indy will make next. So Sage plays Indiana Jones and Coriander plays every single other character in the Indiana Jones universe. With lots of different props. They do a fantastic job. This was packed when I was in there, and remember that I was only sailing with 1,400 passengers. So even at that point, it was extremely popular. So expect like standing room only at this point, but that will make the show even more fun. It's really, really fun. And then Scat Cat, I really wanted to highlight because a lot of you also know that I sail with someone that doesn't like Disney. and it can be really damaging for our relationship at times. So it's important to find opportunities where you can blend. And in every single video, except for mine that's coming out either tomorrow or the next day, in every video of Scat Cat, it is featuring the pianist Matt, who is like out of this world talented, has every Disney song that ever existed memorized, including ones from movies you've never heard of, like Homeward Bound or Home on the Range. Like, okay. Anyway, it's apparently a movie about cows. If you go to Disney Trivia, he'll play all 20 songs just from memory, like no problem. Well, you're guessing, okay? But he's always playing the videos of Scat Cat, and he's extremely talented, but he's always playing Disney music. But there's another pianist on our sailing, her name was Floor, and she had a classical evening. She had a Coldplay evening. It was so good. So there's something in there kind of all the time, and it's not always Disney. So keep that in mind. And then, like, if you're just not feeling all the people, or maybe you just want to like read a book, but you don't want to do that outside, this space that's on decks 4 and 5 throughout, like around the Grand Hall, these super plush couches, I call them like the magic carpet couches. So that's how I feel about it. Like that whole area has this like incredible Moroccan vibe. They're so comfy. The ottomans do move, so you can kind of get it to a spot that you like. It's not locked down. You can get it to a spot that you can prop your feet up. And there's a bajillion outlets over here, so you can plug in your phone and unwind by yourself, away from the people. This area like rarely ever had more than like 2 people in the whole level hanging out, and it's just a super immersive space. So again, so many places to just continue your story all the way into the evening.
Love that. Oh my gosh. And there was a question about the Scat. If you buy the Cat's Meow at Scat Cat Lounge, do I get to keep the glass?
I will follow up on that. I don't believe so. I believe that the pricing is due to the types of like alcohol involved and that type of thing. I don't believe that it's a souvenir glass. Like other like ultra specialty drinks, but I will follow up on that. If Rebecca, I can't see that comment. I only see the ones on YouTube. So if Rebecca, if you can send me that contact info, I will follow up for you.
Yes, absolutely. And then do the cast members / bartenders in the Haunted Mansion Lounge have serious faces like the parks?
Yes and no. So they do. They have kind of they don't walk around with a big giant smile. That would be out of place. However, they do actually exemplify Disney Cruise Line level of service. So if you ask a question, they're not going to like tell you that like they can't help you because they're dead or something. Like they won't take it as far as they do at Disney World, but they don't walk around smiling. They have a tray. They walk kind of slowly. They are, but they are there to serve you. They're not there to be ghost hosts. So
yeah, good to know. I was going to say, if you love the parks, which I'm not a big parks person, so a lot of these references are lost on me. I am calling it the Jungle Cruise bar. So that's, and I'm also getting the shows wrong, but that's a me problem. So, I think if you love the parks, this is a perfect ship for you to sail on, and you should book a cruise. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that chandelier.
It's stunning. It's really stunning. So I debated, I was on this slide for like a solid 45 minutes. Like, what do I post? Do I spoil it? So I decided I am not going to spoil the show. I'm going to just show you some clips. 2 of them, the left and the right, they're not even really part of the show. They're like before the show. And then like after the show's been over for a while, you can go see Aladdin if you want. It's so like, but there is a haunted mansion moment in the middle of the show, and like that's something that if you're not paying attention to the chandelier, you might miss. So I was like, oh, I'm going to include that because it's not super noticeable, but that's like one of the prettiest versions of the chandelier. The chandelier changes colors kind of frequently. So at night on Pirate Night, it's a different color, and then there is an Arabian Nights kind of kiss every night at 10 p.m. It's not the same as Treasure Found, which is the closing ceremonies. Treasure Found is a huge ceremony, and it starts again with coriander and sage. And then they kind of culminate your voyage. And there's a lot of different character visits and cast member visits, kind of showing you everything that you've just done on this amazing voyage and really reliving those amazing memories that you and your family have just created. And then then Jeannie starts the treasure found. So keeping that in mind, everybody's going to be looking at the chandelier, expecting something amazing to happen. But remember that Jeannie doesn't live in the chandelier. So that's not actually where you should look for it to start. So keep that in mind, that it does not start at the chandelier. It does. The chandelier is epic, certainly part of the show, but that's not where it starts.
Oh, so good to know. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that. Bonus slide time.
Yeah, so my slide's always on the bonus slide. So I did just get off the treasure, and I can't wait to be back on. So I will be sailing over the summer. So if you'd like to sail with me, message me and I will send you more information on the dates that I'm sailing and the exclusive activities that I have planned for that sailing. But if you'd like to sail anytime, I am offering bonus onboard credit to my clients that book Treasure and Adventure. Both of those 2 ships are in my little bonus onboard credit opportunity. And then that is also in combination with Disney just released a brand new promotion for 50% off deposits, which means normally your deposit is 20%. But if you book during the promotional offer and on one of the sailings that it's eligible, it's only a 10% deposit. So that's super. 10% down. Final payment, either 90 or 120 days prior to sailing, depending on the length of sailing. And then onboard credit from Crissi when you get on board.
Amazing. That is so kind of you. So yes, if you want to take advantage of onboard credit, definitely reach out to Crissi, in addition to the amazing service that you'll get when working with her, and personalized service at that. Remind us, what can we use onboard credit for?
So truly anything on board. So if you don't prepay your gratuities, it can just go towards that. And that works well for a lot of people. If you decide to prepay your gratuities, you're going on board with like a totally blank slate. A lot of things are included, but if you want to go shopping in the shops, you can go towards that. If you want to do spa purchases, it can go towards that, or shore excursion purchases, or drinks purchases if you are consuming some non-included drinks. Really, truly anything that you're purchasing or that is billed to your onboard account. The only thing that you really can't use it towards is a placeholder, because that doesn't get billed to your onboard account. You kind of pay that directly. So that's it.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. And someone's asking if you went to Jumbo Suites.
I did. I didn't really post pictures because I really wanted to focus on the guest experience, and on our sailing, it was closed most of the time for media. And then when it was open, it was like we had a scheduled appointment. So it was, or not appointment, but it was like open just for this window, and we had a little tab to get a free thing. So it wasn't the real guest experience, but I did go to Jumbo's. We can chat about it, message me directly. I've got tons of pictures and videos that I'll be posting. Jumbo really also, like, it shows well in videos. It's hard to really capture it in photos. It's a small space, but it's a bright space, and it's a vibrant space full of life and lots of gelato choices and toppings choices and fun. But no, it's not really part of the story necessarily. It's kind of just a quick visit to get a sweet treat and then carry on with your story in other places. That's how I feel about it.
Great point. And there's so much to explore on board the Treasure. And if you are ready to book your cruise, please reach out to Crissi. She would love to help you plan your sailing. She is actively trying to get back on board herself. She would be back on board right now if she could be.
I would.
Yes. I would be too. Oh my gosh. But reach out to her. That is a link to her page on the DSail community site up on screen. Again, her planning services are free. Cost you $0 more, and you're getting bonus onboard credit in addition to the amazing service. So reach out to her, let her help you plan your cruise so you can just focus on enjoying the story that is I almost said the wish, that is the Treasure.
Yes.
Goodness gracious, there's so many ships. But Crissi, thank you so much for sharing all of this fresh off your cruise. I know you're going through the post-cruise blues right now. So
yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you have any questions, reach out to Crissi. She is here to help, and we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.